education and examinations of learners with special needs. And who better to have this conversation than the chairperson, Association of Parents and Caregivers with Children with Special Needs, Mr. David Karani. He is also an official at the Elimu Bora Working Group. Keep your comments coming in and questions as well. We'll be looking at them later on. The SMS line is 21144 and GBS TV Africa on all our social media handles. Good evening, Mr. Karani, and welcome to this live broadcast.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me. Thanks for hosting me.
You're welcome. And now, Karani, you are an official at the Elimu Working Group. Tell us, what is the Elimu Working Group and the role you play?
I'm an official at Elimu Bora Working Group. This is a working group that actually consists of a lot of civil society groups that are working to ensure that there is the right to education is actually met, quality education. And it's a civil society group that actually works on ensuring that actually the common mwananchi gets to have the right to education. So I sit there and I represent parents with children with special needs. As you've mentioned, I'm also a parent, as I mentioned earlier. Yes. I'm also a parent to a child with special needs. So to me, this came as a blessing. Because before I was also doing, I'm still doing human rights activities. So when I was blessed with a child with autism, now this became a passion. And that's why I try as much as I can now to push for the right of inclusion for learners with special needs. So as you mentioned earlier, NEC actually administered the exams, the KILEA exams. Actually, I want to thank you for taking that initiative to actually recognize those learners. It was done where the others were doing KIPSEA. Nobody remembered these learners. These learners are forgotten a lot. Most of the times they are forgotten or they are an afterthought. But I want to thank GBS for this. Actually, it's the only time that learners with special needs have gotten an attention in this examination period.
And now, before we even continue, last year you started an organization of caregivers and parents with children with special needs. What informed that decision?
What informed the decision is I was part of the BOM board, the board of management at Kenya Institute of Special Education preschool. And at the preschool, they have an inclusive setup, which is actually a model school for learners with special needs. And there I saw the challenge actually that is there, because you find most of the learners there actually the parents there mostly are female. Most of the times when disability comes into the door, the man leaves through the window, and most of the parents don't have a voice. And most of the times you find parents with children with special needs are going through a lot, because this thing comes to the family when nobody is expecting it. Some of them are not physically challenged, but some of them is neurological development disorders, like maybe something like autism, sometimes cerebral palsy. These are things that actually sometimes are challenging, and they're very expensive to handle. So you find sometimes these parents don't have anyone to talk to. They are left alone, and also sometimes even they have to make a lot of decisions to ensure that these children are actually comfortable. So this is why we started now the association to now front the caregivers and also the parents, because at times their needs are not addressed. So that is why we started it. With the support of Kenya Institute of Special Education, we did the first parents conference, where we brought all parents from all centers, all 47 counties, and they were hosted at Kise. And actually, that's when we made the decision that we need an association of parents and caregivers. So that's how it started. I'm the interim chair at the moment, as we prepare for now to do elections, to now do a countrywide program where we'll have officials in every county to enable now even the parents who are the rural areas to be able to access the kind of services that are in Nairobi. So that is now what informed our decision.
Yeah. And perhaps so far, some months down the line, what are some of the things you can say we have made this type of impact in the society?
I think the first thing that I'm really proud about is the fact that at the moment parents can be able to come out and say I'm a parent to a child with special needs. Yes. Mm-hmm. That is something that it was not being discussed before in an African setup. Most of the times you'd find it was not something that would be talked about in the open. Mm-hmm. It was hush-hush. Mm-hmm. So it was unofficial, but people would just keep quiet about it. You'd find someone who's coming out and introducing the family, but they don't remember to introduce that child with special needs. Mm-hmm. Mostly they are being kept at the back. Mm-hmm. So right now we are having those parents coming in and say, I'm a proud parent mm-hmm. of a child with special needs. Mm-hmm. And that is something that we're really proud about. Mm-hmm. And the other thing is that these parents coming together and actually being able to understand that their children have rights. Mm-hmm. And actually, that is the first thing that we've really insisted on, the right to education. As given by Article 53, every child has a right to compulsory and free education. So that is something that we normally tell them. This is not, it's not a favor, it is a right in the Constitution. So we've tried as much as we can now to start building so that the parents actually become the first ambassadors of their children. So it was something that we've tried, and I think that's the first thing that we're really proud of. And fathers coming in, and also now we've tried and we've done a lot of proposals to a lot of agencies. And I want to take this opportunity also to thank Honorable Okiya Omtatah. Okiya Omtatah has been one of those people who've really supported this association. Just last week, he took to Senate questions about learners with special needs and actually tabled them to the Education Committee. Because there was a problem. Last year when TSC, I think early this year, when they were doing a recruitment for junior secondary school, they did not recruit any teacher for learners with special needs. That was really sad. That was something that actually the association took it serious and took it as something offensive to our children. Our children are going to junior secondary school and they don't have teachers. That was something very sad. So you can imagine that was a clear indication of how our children are forgotten. And they come in as an afterthought. So they recruited teachers, but they did not recruit any teacher for learners with special needs. The school for the blind, the school for the deaf, the autistic children who are advancing to JSS, they did not get any teachers. So the association took that as a very serious thing. And we went ahead and approached Katiba Institute, and we did letters. We demanded for information. So Katiba Institute has really helped us. We wrote to TSC, Teacher Service Commission. We wrote to KICD to ask them how they had prepared. KICD actually had prepared curriculum for these learners, but TSC had not recruited teachers to help these learners through the curriculum. Because you realize you cannot actually, a learner needs a teacher to guide them through the curriculum. So that's what we felt like it was really sad. So that is one of the achievements the association has done, to demand for teachers from TSC. We are yet to finalize, but they did some adjustments. So that is just a clear example of how our children are normally forgotten. Yeah.
And of course, later on, we're going to be looking at learning for learners with special needs and the examinations as well. But before we even get there, we are having the national examinations going on. We had KPSEA and we had KCPE. And on Wednesday, and now we just officially started KCSE. And so far, there has been no report of any malpractices. How do you think the Ministry of Education is working in terms of running the examinations?
I think so far we can't talk about that much, but they've really done. They really prepare. They have a whole year to prepare. I think the CEO is up to task. Jerere, he's going to do his best, because I think with the weather, what is happening, I think we're going to actually see a lot It's still the first day. We should wait and see, but we are hoping for the best. But I think we still need to do a lot when it comes to malpractices in examinations. We need to change tact on how we approach this issue, because this is an issue that actually involves a lot of players. There are officials who actually leak the exam, the officials who actually go ahead and actually distribute it, and then there's a final user, the learners. So in this, we need to change the approach. We need to also include the learners in this, because now we need to actually prepare the learners and tell them, you've worked hard for 4 years. Why should you want someone to come in at the last minute and confuse you? Because that one confuses a learner. Because a learner has actually done their best for 4 years. Why would you not want to see your true results? So it's something that a lot needs to be done in sensitizing the learners to actually prepare them that you need your true results. There's no need for you to cheat, for you to get results that are not yours. That will be now something that will not even reflect the true person that you are. So it's actually something that I think the ministry needs to change tact and also involve parents. It's something we need to also talk to parents. There's no way a parent can actually, because actually some are facilitated by parents. So it's something that we need to go back and tell the parents kindly, allow your child to get their true results, and whatever they come home with, try and work with that. And actually try as much as you can to encourage these learners to do an honest work, because there's no need of you getting a result that does not reflect your true potential. It only complicates issues. You've seen learners who, after getting a result that is not theirs, their parents actually are very excited and prepare them for very big opportunities. They'll go searching for how you can be able maybe to do bigger courses, but truly you know that you're not able to do that. So you'll go take an opportunity for someone else who would have really helped the community and who was up to the task. But for you, maybe you cheated and went there, but later you find it's difficult for you to actually keep up. So you actually go back and actually you've wasted the country even, because maybe there's another person who would have taken that opportunity and go to maybe med school and be able to help the community, but for you cheated your way up there. So I think it's something that parents also need to be prepared on. Kindly talk to the learners, actually encourage them that whatever grade you get, that is what really is. Let's work with that. If it's not a matter of life and death, we will see what will happen afterwards. We will see how you can be able to the education that you have can be useful to you, to the community, and also to the nation. So it's not a matter of life and death. So if we can be able to change tact on how we approach this issue, it can really work, because we don't need to actually put pressure. And that's why I really thank the ministry in terms of now what is coming up, the CBC. The CBC is actually something very good for learners with special needs also. We are really excited about that, because it's going to actually focus on the potential of the child. And then the continuous assessments, which are being encouraged, so that the child actually, you can tell the child's potential. Because I'm sure there are parents who right now don't know what to expect. So it's really good when you're in the educational journey with your child, so that actually you can be able to tell that even during exam, you don't give unnecessary pressure. You just let your child perform, because you've been in the journey, so you know the kind of results you expect. So we hope that this examination cheating can be something of the past, because it's very unfair for a learner who's been preparing for exams the whole year, and then find those exams being leaked. It's something very bad. Yeah, as a nation, we should discourage that.
And another very interesting thing we saw was some parts of the country having heavy rains, and now we have seen the ministry coming in with choppers and having the exams delivered to the schools. But then again, we never had a case where the choppers are taking the students. And now for regular kids, it is already hard enough. And now for learners with disability, can you paint for us a situation? Is it realistic to say that learners with disabilities are going to be able to have the exams equally as their fellow regular colleagues?
I think this is where now affirmative action needs to come in. Because right now we are seeing the heavy rains.
Yes.
And you can imagine now a learner who maybe has disability and is a day scholar and has to maybe trek to school. Maybe, and these are some of the challenges that actually learners with special needs go through. Even in those schools, when they're marking exams, I think when they're grading the exams, they need to actually be grading differently because they do it. But we need now parents to come in and be informed that actually it's important when your children are actually registering for examinations, you need to actually note so that actually when because you can imagine a learner who has special needs, maybe let's say physical disability, and has to maybe trek, or because maybe the same task that you do with 5 minutes. And I'm not saying that they're not up to the task when it comes to now the examinations. But you can imagine what they do, even if it's a class, attending class, for them it's usually maybe they're a bit late, or they have to maybe get support. Because now you find most of our schools until now, they're not inclusive. They're not even accessible. The classes are not accessible. And this is a matter we had raised with the late Magoha when they were actually preparing class for the junior secondary school. We actually wrote a letter as an association, actually indicating that actually they need to ensure that the classes they are building, that they are inclusive, so that they're actually accessible, the ramps and everything, and also the toilets, because you can imagine now a learner who has special needs has difficulties also maybe when they want to use the restrooms. So it's something that is actually very tough, and I think the examination body needs to do a lot to ensure, not even the examination body, also the ministry needs to do a lot, because now you can imagine a learner who has to go to a center, to a new center, yeah, they'll not actually ensure that actually those learners are comfortable enough, because now you can imagine it's raining and this learner maybe is using crutches or a wheelchair, and they have to go to a center that is far away. So I want actually to appeal to the examination managers, the center managers, to actually ensure that these learners who maybe have a bit of difficulty to be given extra time when it comes to examination. If they come in late, actually ensure that actually the time they came in, you compensate that time. Because you can imagine maybe some with the rains and they cannot be able to operate, to commute as fast as the others. So it's just an appeal that actually help those learners in case in a situation like that. Yes.
You know, as we're doing the national exams, Kenyans are very familiar with KCPE, KCSE, and even KPSEA, but when it comes to KILEA, there's a lot of confusion there. Nobody is really aware of what is happening. The Kenya Intermediate Level Education Assessment. Yeah. Take us through that examination. What is tested and how are they even graded?
So this is, it's not like a really examination in terms of, it's an assessment. Because now we stopped having examinations, now we are assessing.
Yes.
Yeah. So they have four communication skill and literacy skills. These for some people, you may take it for granted that you are able to communicate. To some parents, you may take it even for granted that their children can be able to communicate and have literacy skills as something that you don't consider as a big challenge. But to other learners, there are learners who have challenges in communication. So for this kind of an assessment is not really focused on ensuring that the learner has really. It's not those ones that you put a mark. But this one is just ensuring that they have that skill. Like you see, daily living skills. Daily living skills to some people, you may take it for granted that you wake up in the morning and do your daily skills. But to some learners with special needs, this is something difficult. And to some learners, maybe it delays. And to some people, even when they're doing religious education, it becomes something else. So this is just a real example, just to show you that this is something that actually came in when they realized that these learners with special needs, some of them, they go to school and they come out of school without any certification that are actually been through the schooling system. So this was brought actually to ensure that these learners also get to test themselves on these daily skills. Because this is just one example. When I'm talking to parents out there, when you are pushing your children to even straining the existing relationship that you have, straining it, ensure, because I'm sure there are some after this examination, the relationship with their parents will change, because you see some parents use very harsh words like, I've wasted my money for 4 years. This kind of exam should actually should be an example to these parents, that to a parent with a child with special needs, some of the things we are looking at is the communication and social literacy skills, social skills. How is that person? So these are just the things that they are examined on. Communication and social skill and literacy, daily living skills, religious education, sensory and motor skills. Just that writing. To some people, you just take it for granted. But this is just to show you that actually there are people who there are parents who are not looking for so much. They're just looking for their children to have this. So they also have environmental studies, and this is actually something that actually I really encourage. That any parent out there, don't think that your child cannot learn. Even if your child has disability, take them to a school. This exam is actually for them. So these exams, they are going to get actually certification that actually they can communicate, they can have social skills, they have daily living, they have sensory and motor skills, they know what is happening in the environment, and they can actually participate in a community. So this one is actually a step towards the right direction in terms of empowering and actually inclusion of learners with special needs. So I really thank the ministry, and I think this is the way to go, to ensure that everyone is included. And we have, but now we need to do more in terms of creating awareness, because now you see, like, this year we have almost 3,383 learners who did the Kilea exam. So you can imagine those are almost 3,383 families that actually enjoying that their child has actually get into that stage. This is not something, those are Kenyans. They should not be ignored. So we should create awareness, even when we are announcing those exams at KCPE starting and KPSEA, we should also include Kilea. So that someone else may wonder, what is Kilea? And they'll ask about it. So that is creation awareness.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yes.
Now, if that does not explain what is Kilea, I don't know what will.
Oh, Kilea is a Kenya Intermediate Level Education Assessment. This is just it's an intermediate assessment that actually allows them now to go to the next level. And to those learners who have extreme disability, there's another pathway they take. That path, maybe some of them may take, maybe they go to now learn other skills. Maybe if it's a technical skill, they can maybe start from there. But now that examination is actually allowing them now to proceed to the next level. And it shows that these are people who can be taught another skill. If somebody has communication skill and social skills and literacy, that is someone who can be shown other things. If it's woodwork, if it is metal work, they can be able to actually do.
And now, when it comes to basic education in Kenya, the government says education is free for everyone. And now, being a parent of a learner with special needs, is that the case?
Actually, that is not the case. Article 53 actually ensures that actually every learner, every child has a right to basic, free and compulsory education. That is not the case for learners with special needs. And I wanted to go out there that learners with special needs are being charged fees as much as even 50,000 in public schools. Now you can imagine a parent who's not able, they'll have to keep their children home. So this should go out there to all people in the Ministry of Education. The right to education is not being delivered to learners with special needs. I don't want to start issues where I want to name schools, but these are tasks I'm giving to the ministry officials. here in the city, there are schools that are charging as much as 26,000 shillings for a class 1 learner with autism. Now you can imagine that amounts to almost maybe 80 or 60,000 a year. A parent who cannot afford that, that means that our child will stay at home. Yeah? So we need to ensure that the right to education that is enshrined in the Constitution is actually also applied to learners with special needs. There's an illegal fee being charged. And when you go there and they tell you these learners, our wanafunzi ni expensive, they need a lot of attention. They need caregivers. Can the government not provide this for these learners? What are we trying to show these learners? That actually, for them, that article does not apply. So it is something that, as the Parents Association, we've tried as much as we can. And we've tried as much as we can to do it in the proper way. Not ambush those schools, but we want to actually do it in the proper manner. So this is a challenge to all the people in the Ministry of Education. There's a charge that is being levied on learners with special needs. Kindly let us work on that to ensure that those children also can enjoy the right to free and compulsory basic education.
Mr. David, of course, there's a lot to talk about when it comes to education of learners with disabilities, but sadly, time is not on our side. Maybe as you give your parting shot for someone who is out there and they cannot be able to come to the association, and a word to them, to a parent, to maybe the child with disability in the rural area or in other places, a word to them as you give your parting shot.
Mine will be simple. I'll just want to encourage, because sometimes I tell people, even parents, the parents with children with special need are also needy. Yes. They become also parents who need attention. They've gotten a disability. I think the definition of disability is anything that can actually impair you from doing your daily or delivering to your full potential. And to some, they've even have to give up, as in they've given out their lives to ensuring that their children get the best. So what I would want to actually say to these parents, we totally understand what you guys are going through, and that is why we are trying as much as we can. From the legislative side, we are trying to do as much as legislative proposals as we can, because this thing cannot be only be handled in those manners where we call out for people and come and they give you support for one day. We also want laws that can actually also recognize parents and caregivers, because these people are going through a lot. We are proposing to have parents be given a tax break. Parents also to be given to opportunities to tender because of their children, to do business because of their children. Because you can imagine somebody who has a child, there are people who have 2 or 3 children, and their lives have stopped. So I want to tell those parents maybe out there, there's always a center. There's always Kenya National Council of Persons Living with Disability have offices, county offices. Kindly ensure that you visit those offices, get to understand how you can register your child. That is the most important thing. First, get an assessment for your child, and then later register them under the council. And also, we are coming to the counties to ensure that those bills, those acts that were passed at the county levels start to be operationalized, because there's a lot of acts, like Nairobi has a Persons Living with Disability Act that has not been operationalized, Nakuru, Meru. There's a lot of counties that have that act that is not operationalized. So I'll just tell the parents, you can do this. We are together. Anytime you feel like it's getting a toll on you, kindly talk about it. Also, your mental health is important.